Hey y'all, it's Thursday. That means it is another episode of the Late Night Vision Show, episode 356. We have got a lot to get into. I'm not going to spend a lot of time, Jason. I'm going to bring you in right now. Jason Robertson, owner of Outdoor Legacy. Let's tell him what we're talking about this morning. Probably another review if I had to put my money on it.
Another review.
Yeah,
This is
Oh,
review
shucks.
season. Yeah, all shucks. If you don't like reviews, this is
Yeah.
probably not the show for you right now. But there
Mhm.
is a lot going on, and we've got stuff piled up, and we're getting phone calls, we're getting messages, comments.
We are.
Why haven't you reviewed XYZ? And it's like, man, we are overload. Hans and Garrett and I talk about 3 times a week trying to, like, what are we doing next? What do we need to get footage out of? It's there's so many optics that we're trying to stay organized. So this week, yeah, go ahead, Hans.
Yeah, I was going to say, since you mentioned Garrett, real quick, if you want to buy an optic, you want to buy from Outdoor Legacy, call us 877-350-1818, outdoorlegacy.com. You can jump over to the website and check out the scope that we're about to review right now. Wait till after the show and then go check it out. But if you have questions, call us. So go ahead.
Yeah, that's right. We'd love
So-
to have your business. Yeah,
Yeah.
Hans told you where to find us. If you're looking to buy your scope from us, please, please, please support us. Give us a call. We'd love to have your business. As of the recording of this, which this is going to be late February 2025, we have these optics in stock ready to ship. So we always like doing reviews of things that we've got sitting on the shelf, and this scope is there, and we would love to have your business. So it is the Nocpix Ace H50 thermal rifle scope. All right, Nocpix is distributed by iRay USA. And I want to talk here real quick before we jump into the specs and the review. I want to tell you a little bit of where this scope kind of lays in the field. Again, it is the Nocpix Ace H50. Price is $42.99. And this scope is essentially replacing the Infiray Outdoor Bolt TH50C V2. So just the TH50. That's what everybody knew, is the Bolt TH50. That was also from iRay USA. And this scope is, in our opinion, just the logical replacement for it. The Bolt, when it came out, and I'm going to just a brief history. I promise this won't take more than 90 seconds. When the Bolt TH50 came out, it was $5,500. When they discontinued and closed it out, it was $39.99. This replacement, which is better than the Bolt TH50C, we'll talk about that, it's $42.99, so $300 more than the closeout price of the TH50C. The Ace H50 that we're reviewing today is the brother, is what I'm going to call it, the sibling of the Ace H50R, and we reviewed that on episode 353. If my notes are right. 353. Trying to read my own handwriting.
Yeah.
And the Ace H50R is an identical scope to this, but it has a laser rangefinder built into the lens. Everything else about this optic is identical. So what you should never do is say, hey, if you watch that review, this is the same exact scope, but minus laser rangefinder, don't watch it. No,
Yeah,
not saying that, but it is true. It is the exact same optic. That scope is $54.99, so $5,500. So anyway, I just think it's interesting if you kind of look at the pricing structure where the Bolt originally was. Now you get the exact same scope, but better with a laser rangefinder. It's crazy.
Yeah. And so many people have called and asked about the now discontinued Bolt TH50, and that was a very popular scope back when it was around, and it was heavily discounted right before it was discontinued. So a lot of people are still trying to find that deal. You need to hang on and watch this review, because this scope is definitely, in my opinion, Jason, I'll wait for you to give your opinion. I think it is an improvement from the Bolt TH50. So
absolutely.
there's a lot to get into. We're going to talk about the specs while Jason's going through the specs. I'm going to show thermal video. We're going to talk about our likes, dislikes, who it's good for, and then overall thoughts. But this one, Nocpix, as you know, we did our very first Nocpix review, Jason, on episode 353 of the H50R. We also, coming up sometime, hopefully in the future, we will be talking about the 1280 Nocpix Ace. So there's a lot going on, and the
There is.
Lumi monocular that they've got. Nocpix came onto the scene and instantly really had a really good name associated with good quality and good features. So, all right, I stole the mic
Yeah,
from you,
and
but
no, you're good. And you mentioned some video. We'll be showing video that some of it might have come from the Ace H50R as well. The two scopes, again, they're identical. So when we're out there in the field, it doesn't matter if we've got the laser rangefinder or
right.
not. I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. So anyway, you might see
Yeah.
some of that footage might have come from that scope. Again, exact same thing. One's got the rangefinder, one doesn't. So
Right.
starting over, let me get over here to my spec sheet. Again, Nocpix Ace H50. It is 4,299 US big ones, 42.99. Again, it is distributed, warranted by iRay USA. I'm going to get out of order. We're going to talk about the warranty. iRay USA offers a 5-year warranty on all of their optics. That's kind of industry standard. They really kind of pushed that into the industry. And they also have a 5 business day repair or replace policy. So basically, after they get it, they have 5 full business days to either repair it or replace it and get it headed back to you. So that is really nice. You've got some kind of a time frame, kind of what that you could expect there. So this scope is a 640 by 512 resolution. It is 12 microns, 60 hertz refresh rate, sub 15 millikelvin NETD rating. It is a 50 millimeter lens. It's a 0.9, an f.9, so very fast lens. It is a native 3-power base optical magnification. So basically it starts at a 3-power. It does have digital zoom that goes all the way up to 24 power. Now what this scope has, like all of the Ace line, all of these, is it has ocular zoom. And that is going to go up to a 9 power on the ocular. And you go, what are you talking about? Stay tuned. We will talk more about that here in just a little bit. I don't want to kind of bog down the specs with the explanation of the ocular zoom. Moving on, Nocpix says the detection range is 2,850 yards. It's a very, very long ways. Generally, that's going to be something like the size of a human, something standing up way out there, not necessarily going to be able to detect something small like a coyote or a coon or a hog that far. That number, to be honest with you, I kind of feel like we're to the point we should quit even putting it in there because I don't think it matters. Hans, maybe that's going to be the executive decision. We're not talking about detection ranges anymore. It's dumb.
It is dumb.
It's dumb. We're not going to get into that now. Here's what everybody wants to know. What's the realistic identification range of an animal the size of a deer, a hog, or a coyote? And one quick note, guys have told me this and it makes sense. When we say a deer, a hog, and a coyote, we're from East Texas, all right? We're not known to have large white-tailed deer. A white-tailed doe might weigh 100 pounds. A white-tailed buck might weigh 150 to 180 pounds. I mean, maybe there's exceptions, but that's kind of a general rule there. So they're not much bigger than a hog. We definitely have hogs bigger than that. And so for us, it's important. Our deer are not tall. They're not big. You can mistake a deer with its head down for a hog, a deer with its head down, or even, laying down for a coyote. So I know some of these guys in the Midwest and up north like, our deer weigh 300 pounds. I'm not going to mistake it for a 40-pound coyote. Understood. But not all of the country has those great big deer. So hog, coyote, whitetail, we would say conservative, realistic identification range in normal conditions. I mean, that doesn't mean in the brush and 3-foot tall grass. Normal conditions, 500-600 yards. And guys, it's further. I mean, if you've got a good night and you've got some thermal experience, and especially if the animal's on the move, it's going to be a lot further than that, maybe 700-800 yards. But I mean, conservatively realistic, we would say 500-600 yards right out of the box. So that's really nice. Display screen, it is a very large 1.03 inch large format AMOLED that is a 2560 by 2560. We are seeing these display screens become more prominent, and we love it. And once you get behind a 2560 display screen, it's going to be hard to go back to anything else. Color palettes, white hot, black hot, red hot, color, crimson, viridian, and violet. And basically just listen to the first two, white hot and black hot, because that's what 99.9% of us are all going to be using. It does have picture-in-picture. Obviously, this model does not have the laser rangefinder. It does have video and audio recording. It does have Wi-Fi to use to the Nocpix smartphone app. USB-C to charge the internal batteries or to provide external power. There is a built-in battery, and there's also, and they say they're 18650s inside the battery or inside there. I mean, I'm not sure. We can't get to them. That's a non-removable battery. Mm-hmm. And then it does allow you to put in natively a flat top 18650 from the side. Hans will show you that in the walk around. Runtime, from what we found, the 18650 battery was giving us about an hour and a half to 2 hours. The internal batteries, anywhere from 5.5 to 6, up to 6.5. Kind of depends on your batteries. Again, these are normal conditions. So we would just say 6 to 7 hours of total runtime. Very normal, very expected. We will talk more about the battery life in the 18650s here in just a little bit. It does have a standby mode. The scope is about 14.37 inches long. At the widest point, it's about 3.5 inches wide. With the mount on the scope, it's going to weigh about 49 ounces. That's with the battery in it as well. Again, already mentioned, 5-year warranty, IPS67 rating, fully waterproof, submersible, 3 foot for 30 minutes, rated down to a negative 4 degree Fahrenheit. Doesn't mean that it won't work in colder temperatures than that, but that's where they're guaranteeing 100% normal operation. Also, recoil rating 300 Win Mag or 7 millimeter mag. Hans, Ace H50, $42.99. Yep. 3 power, 640. What did I leave off?
Oh, nothing, but I'm going to show it right now. So here, I want to show this real quick. This is your ocular magnification, kind of just your thumb turret, or I don't know what you would call that, thumb adjustment, where you can increase the magnification. On here it says 1 to 3x, but it's actually 1x on this scope is actually 3x. That's your optical based magnification. So it's 3x to 9x ocular magnification with 3 to 24x digital magnification. Here is...
Okay, Hans, I'm going to butt in real quick. Sorry, not to step on your toes. You said something there that's a little confusing. I just want to make sure people understand what this ocular zoom, how that's working. So, and we can talk more about that in a minute. But when he says 1 to 3x, what that means is as you roll that ocular zoom over. So let's say you go to the dead middle, that would be 2x. You are multiplying your magnification times 2. So it starts at a 3 power. When you put that in the middle, essentially you have a 6 power magnification. If you roll that ocular zoom all the way over to the 3, it would be 9, because it's 3 times your base, optical magnification. So that's what that ocular is doing. So I know most people probably got that, but you said it kind of quick. So just you're magnifying that display screen, kind of cheating the system. And again, when you go to 2, it really looks like you're looking at a 6 power. You go to 3, looks like you're looking at a 9 power. I probably muddied the waters even worse, but go on. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, if they were confused, they may even be more confused, but that's okay. That's what we're here to do. We are here to muddy the waters. We do it better maybe than anybody else.
We're not here to do that. We'll come back and talk about this in a minute. Go on, Hans, after I rudely interrupted your walk around.
You're fine. You got your objective lens diopter focus here on the end. That's what that fin is. It gives you really easy access, being able to grab that and make that adjustment with one hand with that I call it a fin sticking up. Your turrets right here where you make your adjustments, the one right here on top is your menu button. You go into your quick menu or your full menu. You turn the turret up here to go through your different menu items. Jason mentioned your battery door here on the side. It's got a little button lever where it just flips out. The battery slides in and out. and then your USB-C plug is on this side. I do have it in the American Defense Manufacturing mount. This is a 2-throw lever QD mount, the same recon mount that we put on just about every other 30 millimeter tube scope. Jason, do you have the factory mount sitting right there?
It's funny that you say that. I was looking around on my table, and it must have gotten left. Essentially, I know. Hey, listen, I know.
Well, here I've got one right behind me. I've got. I don't know if this is legal to show. This is the brand new 1280 S60R, and it's in the factory mount. So, Jason, if this is illegal to show, I'll edit it out. But I don't think so.
No, you can show. There's a handful of those out in the wild. We've shipped a few of them, not many, but yeah.
Here is the S60R with the factory mount. This mount is going to be the same one that comes on the regular H50 and H50Rs. So it's also a 2-throw lever QD mount. Nice that it comes with it. But Jason, other than that, eyepiece diopter focus. You got your button layout here right by the eyepiece, and like you said, looks exactly like the H50R, except it doesn't have the laser rangefinder built into the objective lens.
So, you mentioned that mount real quick, and we get these questions: should I use the American Defense mount? Listen, there's nothing wrong with that mount that it comes with at all. It works. It does a good job. But I'll just be honest with you. If I'm going to spend, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 or more on an optic, I just, spending $250 to get a American-made, American-machined, lifetime warranty mount that is, in our opinion, the best mount on the market, it's worth it. I mean, again, I'm not going to buy a new truck and ride around on the factory tires. They're probably fine, but I want some better tires on it. And I just want the best mount I can get. So that's why we go with the American Defense. But you know what? If you want to save the money, that mount comes with it. It is nice for guys who don't want to spend the extra money. You got a good mount. Let's jump in real quick and talk about some dislikes. These are really going to mirror our dislikes on its sibling, the H50R with the laser rangefinder, and that's this. I think the 18650 removable battery life could be better. We're talking about 1.5, 2 hours in normal conditions. In cold weather, that's going to be worse. So we'd love to see that better. But here's the good news to that is it is just an 18650. The scope does come with two 18650s and a charger, and you can buy these batteries for, $15 to $30 a piece, depending on, what battery you get. And so that's very cheap. If they were using a proprietary battery and it was getting this kind of battery life, you'd be spending $100 to $200 for those batteries. So I just think if you're in cold weather, just know you're going to need to buy some more flat top 18650s. People always say, what do you like? We like Nightcore. We've got those at outdoorlegacy.com, Nightcore flat tops. That's what we're using and suggesting for these. They're not expensive. Other dislike, I hate to say this because it's really some ways not fair. It's not lightweight, but and I kind of think at this point, Hans, we need to cut that out too, because every scope like this that's in a 30 millimeter tube, these newer scopes that get, bigger displays, they get, all the things that they're packing in there, they're not light. And so if you're looking for that small little compact lightweight scope, you're not going to get it. Not in this style of a scope. So that's just kind of comes with the territory. Battery door, it's not the end of the world, but you do need to make sure you get that door latched well. And there's a little bit of a trick. And we actually had a customer call say that he couldn't get it latched. Come to find out, he was actually pressing too hard. He was like really jamming up in there. And it wasn't latching because he had too much force on it. He said he handed it to his wife while they were on the phone, and she goes, "Oh, just press it in and close it." And it's typical. A man, we think you need, more pressure is better. Yeah. But you just want to make sure you hear that click, and then you're good to go. If you don't, the door might pop open. There's no defect. It's just something you've got to pay attention to. So, All right, I said the negatives. I want to say we'll talk about one big positive, and we'll move to those. And Hans, I'll let you take over. I think for me, and I think you're going to agree with this, Hans, what sets this scope apart from the predecessor, as we're going to call it, the replacement in the Infiray line, which was the TH50C, is this ocular zoom. Well, I'd say that, and the fact that it natively takes 18650 batteries, which I like.
Yeah.
But the ocular zoom is absolutely a huge improvement, allowing you to zoom without losing the resolution like digital zoom. So just to real quick explain this, this is a 640 scope, 640 resolution. If you use your digital zoom and you take this from a 3 power to a 6 power, you've cut your resolution in half. It goes to a 320 resolution, so your image quality is half of what it was. With the ocular zoom and the way that Nocpix has done this, with this big 2560 by 2560 high resolution display, when you move that ocular zoom and start to zoom in on the display. That's why this cannot be shown in a video, because it's done back here at your eye. You're just zooming in on the screen. I don't want to say that it's lossless, but I'm going to say that it's very close to lossless as you zoom up. Because again, the only thing that's changing is that screen is getting closer to you, and eventually it gets a little grainy because you're seeing the pixels on that screen. But I would say you could go up to 2x, which would make this scope a 6 power, with almost no loss. I mean, very, very, very little loss. By the time you go over to the 3x, which would make this scope a 9 power, then yeah, you're starting to see some of that grain, but it's still way better than digital zoom. Way clearer. So I call it cheating the system, because you are. I mean, you're not having to digitally zoom up. It's a really cool feature, and I think it changes the way that people use their scope, because you can, and again, this is when we talk about 2x and 3x, this is incremental. You can slowly start zooming in, and it's a continuous zoom. So you don't have to go to 2 or go to 3x. The very last thing I'll say about this is we get these comments a lot, and I get it on the show here. We get these questions via email and phone calls. Would y'all just put a phone or a camera behind it and show us how that works? We're not going to do that for this reason. We cannot, let me say that. I mean, I haven't seen anybody been able to, maybe somebody can. We cannot put our phone or a camera behind that and show it and do the scope justice, because you're looking inside this, this glass lens and in there at this screen, and so the image looks terrible. So when you try that, you just can't focus like you need to. And so when you start turning that, it just looks terrible, because you just got your phone held up behind it.
I've tried to do that with the phone behind the screen with other scopes, and the camera on your phone, and I've got a very new iPhone, the camera on your phone is recording at such a high resolution that it's having a hard time focusing on the screen. So what you have to do is you have to basically zoom in your phone to enlarge the screen of the scope. It just doesn't look good. It's not a great representation of what it can do. It's
not.
No,
that's so I'm going to end on that. We don't want to show something that's only going to do it a disservice. It's not going to, I mean, you understand the concept. If you watch a terrible video of it, it's not going to make you feel better about it. So anyway, that's why you can't see it on the recorded videos. Hans, what else do you like about this scope?
Continuing on with the likes, and we talked about what this scope is replacing the Bolt TH50. The Bolt TH50 was a 3.5 to 14 power. This is a 3 power to 24 power with digital zoom. But like Jason said, with the ocular magnification, you're kind of cheating the system. So it almost gives you a scope that has a more, definitely has more usable high-end magnification, but something that you can use really and really give you more of a advantage over that TH50. So I do think it's better. I think the magnification options are better than the TH50. I think the image is a little bit better than the TH50. It is a newer optic as well, but the 18650 option in there with that removable battery, the fact that you're getting all this, and we talked about this before, $42.99, which comes in much lower than what the Bolt TH50 came into the market at, so a much lower price. Again, the scope is $300 more than the discontinued sell price of the Bolt TH50, but you're getting a lot more features with it. And I don't think, Jason, remind me if I'm, or correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think the Bolt TH50s when they were first coming out came with a QD mount. I don't.
They did not. No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
They came with
just standard rings.
Just standard rings. Just standard Picatinny non-QD rings.
Exactly.
So no, they did not come with that. So yeah, there's a lot of value for the dollar in this scope, and I think we're seeing just that continued trend of improved image quality, improved features, more 18650 batteries, and prices coming down. And I know that, again, $42.99, you go, gosh, it's still out of my budget. Guys, I mean, they're getting there. We've got 2 Power 640s right now, multiple options for $2,600 to $3,000. So these scopes are getting there. They're getting pushed down. And if we just talk about this briefly here, I mean, I know we keep talking about this TH50C, and the only reason we're doing that is that, again, was from iRay USA as well, and this is kind of replacing that.
And it was a popular scope too.
It was so popular. Yeah. So popular. And we're going from, well, I think I'd say this, it was probably our number one selling, 3 Power 640 for coyote hunters. And so if we look at a $5,500 to $4,300, we got a $1,200 drop in, 18 months or something. I mean, that's big. That's a lot. We're headed in the right direction. So love this scope. People say, who's it good for? I think the 3 Power definitely is the market at this point. It's the all-around magnification that most people want. There are people who are hunting in brush, woods, thick stuff. Maybe they're just shooting fox or coyotes or varmints at close ranges. Maybe it's, in their chicken coop or on their corn feeder, and they don't need this much magnification. Totally understand that. Maybe one of those 2 Power scopes is more of what they need, but I would say generally the 3 Power is great. Very rarely would we have a coyote hunter that is in any sort of open terrain that would want less than a 3 Power. So I would say almost all coyote hunters are at least going to want a 3 Power most of the time. So great for them. Again, hog hunters too. A lot of guys are not doing that short range spotting and stalking. It doesn't have the laser rangefinder. So, if you're kind of caught between, do I need the laser rangefinder on the Ace H50R or save myself that $1,200 and get this scope? I think, Hans and I've got a couple shows we've dedicated to talking about that, but just in a nutshell, I'd say if you're hunting the same properties over and over and you've got some landmarks and you know how far things are, if it's your own property, then, probably not. You're probably good. If you're hunting a lot of new properties all the time, moving around, don't know how far things are, or you're in big, wide open country and you may be in a field where you can see, 800, 1,000 yards, no trees, no nothing, just don't know, no depth perception. It's where a laser rangefinder might come in handy. So just kind of depends on your situation, what you're doing, how far you're wanting to be shooting, and that sort of thing. But overall, it's just a fantastic scope.
Yeah, I agree with all that, Jason. There's really, we talked about all the advantages. We've talked about the likes and dislikes of it, who it's good for. A lot of people that call in say, hey, I know you like to coyote hunt and you're doing a lot of hog hunting as well. Honestly, 90% of my shots are under 75 yards. I prefer 3 Power base magnification. So we've talked about in the past, it is more widely accepted for the majority of the hunters out there. And we've talked about in the past where our progression and transitioned into this where we preferred lower base magnification. I now prefer a little bit higher base magnification than I used to. So I really like this for, you know this too, Jason. We get calls all the time for guys that are up north that all they do is coyote hunt, but one time a year they come to Texas and they say, is a 3-power scope okay to come to Texas and shoot hogs? Absolutely. We do it down here all the time. Come on in, the water's warm. You'll enjoy it. So that 3-power is great. This scope, Jason, I hate to go on the record and talk about predictions, but I do think at that price point with the features and the picture quality, I do think it's going to be one of the most popular scopes this year. And you think about some of the other scopes in this similar price range, there's some good comparisons there, but this Nocpix has a strong case for why you might want to be interested in this optic. So, I think that we've got a real solid scope at $42.99.
I think so too. I think that what you're getting for it, all the features that are standard in scopes, plus the ocular zoom, the 18650, the 2560 display, it's the real deal. And the question is this something, if I already own a TH50 or an RH50 V2 or something like that from iRay USA, should I upgrade into this? I don't think it's a requirement. I mean, if you're happy with your scope, there is nothing wrong with those optics. But I think when you're at that point of, okay, I want the next step, or maybe I don't own a scope at all, or maybe I got an old 640 or an old 384, and I'm looking to make that step. I think this is that kind of scope that gets you into 640, and to be honest, I think this is about as good of a 640 image as you're going to get, and you can do that for a little over $4,000. So
that's not bad.
Really like it, guys. I hope you enjoy this review. I hope it helped you. I understand that you probably can't watch a review like this and go, I know that's the exact scope I want out of the other 50 that are out there. I understand there's still confusion. That's where we come in at Outdoor Legacy. You can call, you can talk to Hans, talk to Garrett, talk to myself. We want to make sure you're getting the exact right optic. And if you're going to purchase from Outdoor Legacy, this is a service that we offer. We want to know that our customers have maybe you've made that. It's like, I think this is it. I just need somebody to tell me that this is the right decision or the wrong decision. And a lot of times it's nothing more than us saying, yeah, man, hear a little about your situation. Good decision. That's the one. Sometimes I'm like, oh, hold on a minute. You're going to do what? Yeah, maybe we need to look at something else. So you want to be sure you're spending this kind of money. You want to make sure you're getting the right thing. OutdoorLegacy.com if you're ready to buy, or 877-350-1818 if you want to talk to us before you make that purchase. And if you just want to, if you know what you want to make the purchase over the phone, the ladies are happy to do that in our office as well. If you're looking for more from the Late Night Vision Show, or Outdoor Legacy, or Hans East Texas, Hans ETX, search any of those on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, and you will find us. You can also go to the latenightVisionShow.com, find all of our past episodes there. But basically, we're on all the socials, and we here at the Late Night Vision Show do our best to bring you the latest and the most breaking news in this industry. Lots of scope reviews, night hunting talk as well, every Thursday right here on YouTube.
Yeah, Jason, I'm kind of a YouTube bad boy now. I'm starting to get shut down on YouTube, and the channel's kind of dangling by a string. So how do you feel about that? You kind of have like a rebel on the
YouTube doesn't like you and all your hunting videos.
So
you're kind of getting on a short list.
I don't know. So go check it out before it's taken away. Or email YouTube and say, hey, let Hans keep his channel.
Don't email YouTube. You don't need any more attention.
Exactly.
Do not email YouTube.
And good point. Don't email. Let's just act like it doesn't even exist over there. We're just going to try to ease in under the radar for a while now.
That's right.
Y'all, this has been episode, let me look at my number, 356, the Nocpix Ace H50 review. We'll see y'all again. Y'all can see we've got a bunch of scopes here to review, still to review. At some point, Jason, we're going to have some just off-topic or topic content here as things slow down. And I promise you, this summer, we're probably going to be begging you to give us topics because in the
That's
summer
right.
it gets slow, the reviews are gone, and it's just me and Jason talking
Sitting
about
here.
whatever. It's sitting here looking like lumps on a log. Anyway, we'll see y'all soon. Y'all take care.